get started is chalking out a plan where we have identified areas and pockets where we know some data exists, use that data to go ahead and identify pockets that can be automated, that can be made more intelligent. Use all the parameters together and try to work out a solution.
You're absolutely right. And I think that's an interesting point and that you made, right? So one, in my head, the way I see it is there are clearly areas that absolutely can go in with the existing machine learning RPA capabilities that are out there, right? You talk about any of the repeatable processes that are out there, right? My only thought process around, just don't look at the number of people and decide that they are all uniform process, right? You see 1,000 people, don't get excited they're all uniform process. They may not be, right? So we've got to very clearly say, okay, that's why the diagnostics is so important. Is that truly what you are seeing, or is it just an illusion? Yeah. So first is about doing that. The second one, which you rightly touched upon, is where you don't is the higher end of the processes. Can you start your data work on the ground, right? You may not have to deploy a machine learning capability on it today, but can you start finding a way to get the data structure, organization, the data management piece of it built up?
Definitely. Trigen works with the motto of overcoming limits. So from those perspective, we always look at it from the perspective that if we cannot solve the problem today for you, let's get going on gathering the bits so that we can solve it for you tomorrow. At least we are able to bring forward all the aspects of it in terms of a working plan that can be implemented and seen through. One of the other bits that we have done and which we have seen working for not specifically BFSI, but smaller industries, smaller businesses, is they predominantly don't look at it from a voluminous process, right? They don't look at it what is really transactional when it comes to applying intelligent solutions. They don't look at it from the perspective of that there are 1,000 people whom I'm paying for getting to do this manual dirty work. Let me make it more intelligent.
No, I think because sometimes when the organizations are huge, right, large, there are silos that get created, right? And I was working with a bank that acquired a mortgage company. Now, if I had a account with that, sometimes through the integration process, somewhere things have slipped out and it's not come together, right? So there are always going to be certain of those, right? And I think there are opportunities for us to use that capabilities to kind of leverage and improve those things. But I have worked in the financial institutions for a really long time, right? One thing you talked about, beyond all of this, I think it has to make financial benefit. Because end of day, if you do something and it does not have a financial benefit, because I think we've moved on from the world where we're talking about 10 years down the line and 5 years down the line, right? And that is an unfortunate way, but I think it is what it is, right? So the financial institutions have to deliver yearly outputs, the cost is high, all of that, right? So end of day, when I kind of think about any of these things, I know that when people come in with a good intention, but in the long term, well, then it falls through the crack because then you're not able to justify why. So whatever we do as consultants, we need to balance that bit. It's a long-term solutions that we need to do for them, but B, also that if I pick a process, if I pick an area, I've got to really, really make sure that actually that gets the benefit that they can go back and claim at the end of the year.
Definitely. In every sense, this has always been there with every organization, but with BFSI, it is always going to be about the bottom line, right? What's the bottom line impact? And the person who's the champion for that initiative, right, would be looking at it that I need to get my brownie points to keep funding whatever aspirations that my department has or my higher up has. So as consultants, we would be working more as partners to that champion.
Yes.
Allow him or her to be successful in all the endeavors there, in terms of all the targets that have been aligned, and white label it every aspect so that it is their successes and not our successes, and that keeps the value stream going on and work from there.
If I have to summarize this, right, I would go with a couple of things. One is that I talked about the people, process, and technology element, right? So I think very key is that we as consultants help financial institutions or banks specifically to design their governance model, right? Number one. Without that, it becomes really difficult for them to execute the programs. I think that's number one. The number two, I think, is that we go in with a diagnostic approach when we work with them, so that we are not going out for one specific area, but actually going out with, we have a plethora of things, that capabilities that we can bring in. We can help you to leverage your existing platforms, use services that are already available in the market, or we can actually help you to do automation through machine learning, RPA, AI kind of a thing, right? So I think that's a second component. The third component I see is a fantastic opportunity out there, right? Because a lot of the financial institutions have not really leveraged this well. And I think that's where I think there's a great opportunity in the market for organizations like Trigen to really go out and help these financial institutions, these banks, to kind of get better, get more oriented, and be able to drive more customer relationships, grow their businesses. I think there's a massive opportunity. And I think every report that you read, they understand it. The finance organization understands it, and they're also now willing to come up and really invest in it. So I think it's a great opportunity, both from the consulting side and also from the financial institutions, to get the best out of this environment.
So, Amir, this has been really amazing. I would love to, go ahead and do these type of conversations again. Probably we will try to do more such conversations by identifying really niche pockets where this has not been done. But it has been really amazing. I thank you for the time that you have given us. It has been really, really great to hear about your thoughts, share, get to understand the nuances of your experiences and see how Trigen can benefit from it, and how we can leverage that together to solve problems for our prospects. Thank you, Amir. It has been really nice talking. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.
Take care.